Welcome to White City Place Connect, where we're providing occupiers of White City Place a live platform to learn and engage while supporting well-being from the comfort and safety of your homes. Welcome everybody, my name's Dora. For those of you who don't know me, we're going to be spending an hour together in yoga, which is an opportunity for us to get out of our heads and into our bodies. All you're going to need is a yoga mat, no props needed, preferably bare feet so you don't slip. Make sure you're warm enough and come and join me down on the mat. We're going to begin lying down in what we call constructive resting pose. So the knees are bent, the feet are flat on the floor, hip distance apart. And just fiddle around a little bit, maybe taking your feet a little bit further away or closer towards your sit bones until you find that place where there's as little as effort needed in the legs to hold them here, as little muscular effort needed as possible. Let's bring our hands into prayer and place the flat of your thumbs onto your forehead. This is quite a quick and effective way of calming the frontal lobe of the brain, the thinking part of the brain. Take a moment to arrive, settling down into the safety and support of the earth, and having an awareness of the whole of your body. Begin to connect to your breath, softening the front body, and just observing the breath as it is. Noticing perhaps any tendency you may have to want to change the breath to make it better, fuller, smoother. Instead, and you just observe what is. And in the same sense, notice also what it is that you've brought to your mat this lunchtime. Any physical sensation, any repetitive recycling thoughts. And again, without the need to change, just accepting yourself as you are right now. Switch the hands from the forehead to place one hand onto the chest and one hand onto the belly. Just holding yourself tenderly and feeling the breath that's there. Relax the elbows and the shoulders best you can. Just feeling the belly and the chest rising towards and away from the palms of your hands. And allowing now the breath to perhaps deepen and lengthen. Outer layers of the body remain soft and relaxed. Breathing from the inside out. Your arms down by your sides, palms down. Taking the breath into movement now. As you inhale, feel the torso from bottom to top and raise the arms up and over onto the floor behind you. As you exhale, breath empties from top to bottom, arms come down by your sides. Really simple. Inhaling, coordinating breath with movement. Allow the breath to instigate the movement. Exhaling. 3 more times to your own rhythm. Inhale. Exhale, equalizing the length of the inhale and the exhale, just instinctively. One more time. Inhaling. Exhale. This time as you inhale, press into the heels. Lift your spine vertically off the earth into a bridge pose. Exhale, lower down, bring the arms up and over the head so the hips and the hands reach the floor at the same time. Inhale, press into the feet so you're using your legs more than your spinal bones and facet joints. Exhale, coming down, arms up and over. One more time. Inhaling. Exhaling. Leaving the arms where they are over the head. And as you reach the right arm out to the side in a T position, and drop your knees over to the right. Keep the feet on the floor. Reach back with your left fingertips. And breathe into the space you've created in the left side of your body, in the left side of the rib cage, waist, kidney. Gaze can be towards the ceiling, or you can turn your cheek towards the left armpit. Raising the knees, reach your right arm up by the ear, take the left arm out to the side in a T shape, drop the knees to the left, coming onto the inner edge and outer edge of the feet. Reach back with your right fingertips, reaching your right hip bone forward, and breathe into the space you've created in the right side of your body as you turn your cheek towards the armpit. Gaze turns towards the ceiling. The left arm reaches up by the ear, so both arms are stretching back here. Stretch your left leg forward along the earth. Heel comes to the floor. As you inhale and raise this leg, you may at some point need to bend the knee to raise it vertically. And as you exhale, lower it down. Connect to your core. Inhaling, don't worry if you need to bend the knee. Spread the toes and the heel towards the sky. Exhale. And again, inhaling. Moving to the own rhythm of your breath. Exhale. 2 more times. Inhale. Arms and fingers are active. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, raise the leg and hold it here for a moment. Imagine you were trying to lift the heel higher than the ball of the foot. Tailbone stays heavy, so there's a little bit of breathing space between the lower back and the floor. On your next exhale, you're going to lower this leg down and simultaneously draw the right knee towards you, interlacing the hands over the front of the knee or the shin. Make space between each toe, soften the right thigh towards you, lengthen forward to the inner seam of your left leg. Chin slightly in. From here, raise your right arm up by the ear again and start to take the right knee over, keeping the right shoulder blade grounded. So you may not come too far. If you wish, you can create a little shelf with your left hand underneath the knee. Maybe roll onto the outer edge of your left foot, stretch back with your right arm, breathe behind the navel. And then taking the knee out to the side, hug the knee towards the armpit, thigh outside of the body. And if you feel you're rolling over a little bit too much, left hand can rest on your left thigh. Take the knee back to the center. Hug your left knee in. Keep the knees hip distance. There's a little bit more spaciousness in the sacrum. This might be enough. Or you can lift your head and shoulders and give yourself a little squeeze. Knees come towards the cheekbones. before placing the head back to the floor, feet to the floor, arms down by your sides. Stretch your right leg forward. Heel comes to the floor, relax your shoulders, jaw, face. Float the right leg up as you inhale. You may need to bend the knee. Exhale, lowering the leg. Connect to your core as you do this. Inhaling. Exhaling. 3 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Inhaling. Exhaling all in and out through the nose. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, raising your leg, holding it here. Sending the heel towards the ceiling. Tailbone is heavy, so there's a sense of lightness between the lower back and the floor. Lifting the heel higher than the ball of the foot. And on your next exhale, lower the leg down. Hug your left knee towards you. Soften in the top of that left thigh. Spread the shoulder blades. Extend forward to the inner seam of your right leg. Left arm comes up by the ear. Keeping that left shoulder blade anchored as you roll the knee across. You can make a little shelf underneath the knee. Maybe roll towards the outer edge of your right foot. And reach your left hip bone forward. So the space between the armpit and the hip. Breathe. As you roll onto your back, take the knee out towards the armpit, thigh resting outside of the body. And if you're rolling too far over towards that left leg, place the right hand onto the top of the thigh to help ground you. Draw the knee back, hug your right knee in, slip the hands behind the backs of the knees, and rock yourself up to seated. So we're going to bring the feet together, knees together. Take the right thumb in line with your tailbone. Raise your left arm up by your ear. Start to twist towards the right and place the left elbow either onto the top of the knee or to the outside of the knee. You may want to lean back a little bit to encourage the organs and the flesh of the belly into the twist. Turning your gaze towards the wall. Inhale, raise up your left arm. Circle the arm behind you, thumb in line with the tailbone. Raise your right arm. Twist towards the left. Right elbow can come onto the top of the knee or to the outside of the knee. You might want to lean back a little bit, encouraging the organs and the flesh of the belly into the twist. And then straightening the spine a little bit here, pressing the knees towards the elbow. So our twists are going to be really useful in this time where we may be a little bit more sedentary, to help keep the peristaltic activity of the digestive system working well. Float yourself back around, reach up the arm. Take both sets of fingertips behind you, maybe as wide as your mat. Slide the heart up the sternum. Look towards the ceiling without dropping the head all the way back. And pushing away from the tips of the fingers. Crossing the ankles if it's possible for you to make this transition over the shins. If not, just make your way happily over onto all fours. Take the wrists underneath the shoulders, the hips above the knees. Bring a little bit more tone to the front of the body. Flatten the tops of the feet, and as you exhale, you're going to lift and round your spine into your cat. Keep exhaling as you send the hips back towards the heel. Keep rounding, rounding, rounding the spine, long exhale. Inhaling, coming back up. Tuck your toes, lift the heart, broaden the sit bones into your cow. And as you exhale, Pick the knees off the floor, belly towards the thighs, keeping the knees halfway bent in your first downward facing dog. Inhale, lower your knees to the floor. Flatten the feet. Exhale, lift and round your spine. Keep rounding as you stretch that towards the heels. Inhaling, coming up. Lift the heart, broaden the sit bones. Tuck your toes. Exhale, belly to thighs. One more time. Inhale, lower the knees to the floor. Flatten the feet. Exhale, lift and round the spine. Arch the back. Push the earth away. Keep exhaling as you hinge back. Inhaling, coming up. With the shoulder blades down the back. Tuck the toes. Broaden the sit bones. Exhale, float the knees off the floor. Belly to thigh. Wonderful. Walk your hands back towards your feet. So you're standing at the back of your mat with your feet hip distance apart, letting your head go. Bend your knees as much as you need to at least have the fingertips on the floor. And shift the weight from foot to foot, just playing around with the distribution of weight here. Till you find yourself with 50% of the weight in each foot. Crown of the head drops to the floor. Inhale, slide your hands up the shins, underneath the knees, extend the heart. Exhale, slide the hands down onto the feet. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale. Inhale, sliding the hands up the legs, taking the fingertips onto the tops of your thighs. Pressing the tops of the thighs back, there's almost an essence of a back bend here. Be careful not to shorten the back of the neck so the chin is slightly in. And then sliding the hands back down onto the floor, shins or feet. Looking forward along your mat, start to walk the hands into your downward facing dog. Scoop the armpits forward. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Perhaps allowing a little pulse to your body. So as you inhale, the heels lightly rise. As you exhale, they drift to the floor. Bringing a little bit of aliveness to this pose. Walking your feet forward towards the backs of the wrists. The feet are hip distance apart. Soften the knees, let the head hang. Slide the hands up the thighs. Take the fingers onto the tops of your thigh bones as you press them back. And this time we're going to come all the way up to standing. Interlace your hands behind you. Curl the shoulders around, but without overly pinching the shoulder blades. And if the ribcage is flaring, soften the lower ribs in. Just for a moment, lengthen the tailbone down. Lift the heart as you inhale. And as you exhale, bend the knees. And like a wave, belly, ribcage, forehead comes to the floor. If the shoulders are feeling a little stiff, then keep the palms open and quite a nice bend to the elbows. Perhaps you're rolling your left shoulder to your left knee, looking up towards the right as you inhale. Right shoulder to right knee, exhale. Inhale, one more time each side. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale. Both shoulders to the knees. Drop the thumbs onto the sacrum. Release the fingertips to the floor. Turning your palms towards one another. Reach forward. If you have any issues with your lower back, please take the arms out to the sides to come up. Coming all the way up to standing. Melt the shoulders. Tailbone releases down, heart lifts. Maybe rise up onto the balls of your feet. Find a point on which to focus your gaze. Start to bend the knees, keeping the heels high. The spine is almost vertical. And as you sink the heels to the floor, send your hips back, Utkatasana. Lifting the thumbs, breathing in and breathing out. Your toes are almost lifting. Almost feels as if you were going to fall back if it wasn't for the weight of your upper body. Dive forward, take the fingertips to the floor and fold. Lift and lengthen your heart as you inhale. Step back with your left toes into your lunge. Step back long enough so your front knee is above your ankle. Press down to both feet. Receive the uplift so the belly floats off the thigh. The hands come to the heart in prayer position as if you're supporting the breastbone, elbows out to the sides. Feel that line of force from the crown of the head all the way through to the back heel. As you lower your back knee down, lift the chest. Reach your arms forward, pressing the palms together to create a tension in the arms. A little lift to the lower belly. Take your hips forward and raise the arms. They may end up being a little bit further forward if you would like to look up to the thumbs. Or you can take the palms apart if there's a little bit too much strain there. Push into your front heel. Send the hips back, maybe lift the front toes. If you need more support, take the fingertips onto the floor. Lengthen the belly over the thigh and pull your heel back towards you so you're strengthening the back of the hamstrings. So fingertips can be down or you might be here. Walk yourself back onto the foot. Take the thumbs to the heart, hands to the floor. Step back into a downward facing dog. Make sure that your down dog is long enough for your plank, so that when you float forward on the inhale, the shoulders are directly over the wrists. Lower your knees to the floor, flatten the feet. Lengthen the tailbone so the lower belly is toned. Bring the shoulders forward of the wrists. Bend the elbows, dropping the chest to the floor, and slide the legs away from you. Bring the forehead down. Internally rotate from the top of both thighs. Almost as if you're bringing all 10 toenails to the floor. Bury your pubic bones so the tailbone lengthens. Pull your hands back, lengthen the heart forward into the space in front of you, baby cobra. Lovely. To do a little test, you take the hands off the floor, making sure the back muscles are holding you here. Take the hands to the earth, push back up onto hands and knees, tap your toes. Float yourself up and back into your downward facing dog. Couple of breaths here. Broaden across the upper back. Breathe into the back of the heart space. Raise your right leg up behind you. Press the ball of the foot towards the wall behind you. Send your left pubis back. Going to bring equal amounts of weight through both arms and hands. Exhale, bring knee to navel, shoulders over wrists. Slide the right leg across the floor, flexing the foot. Bring your back heel down and then unravel through the right side of your body, possibly keeping both hands on the floor. Bring the knee to the navel, pulse back. Step the foot in between the hands and you can help it through with your right hand if you need to. Glide your back foot forward, feet to hip distance apart. Either arms out to the sides if you have anything going on in your lower back, or bring them forward and up. Melt your shoulders. Rise up onto the balls of your feet. Just embrace any little bits of wobbling that are going on here. Body has a beautiful way of aligning itself when you rise up onto the toes. Bending the knees, keeping the heels high. Relatively upright with the spine. And then as you let the heels come to the floor, send your hips back. Utkatasana. Couple of breaths here. Just feeling into that natural S shape of your lower back. So you're neither tucking under or lifting up too much. Dive forward as you exhale, lift the sit bones, fingertips to the floor. Inhale, lift and lengthen your heart. Exhale, step back with your right toes into your lunge. Root down through the legs, receive the uplift as the belly comes off the thigh. Thumbs underneath the breastbone in prayer position. Send the weight through the spine. As you lower your back knee down softly, lift the shoulders. Reach the palms forward, little bend in the elbows. Press the palms together, create a tension in the arms. Lift the pit of the belly, send your hips forward, maybe raising the arms. Looking up towards the thumbs. So have the hands farther forward instead of this, where you may be craning the neck. Or take the palms apart, your choice. As you push into the front heel, start to send the hips back, lifting the front toes. Either reaching forward with the arms, or taking the fingertips underneath the shoulders. Still where the hips are, behind you. Pull the heel back towards you. Breathe. Take it back onto the foot, raise the arms. Take the thumbs to the heart, hands to the floor. Step back into the downward facing dog. Softening the elbows. Feeling how the breath creates a little uplift on the inhale and delivers you back to the earth on the exhale. Reach the left leg up behind you, pressing the ball of the foot towards the wall behind you. Press the mat forward and down with your arms. Inhale. Exhale, bring the knee to the navel. Slide the leg across the floor, flexing the foot. Bring your back heel in and down. And then unravel the underneath side of your body, keeping both hands down for now. Draw the navel back, or knee back to navel. Pulse back, step the foot in between the hands. Help it through with your left hand if you need to. Glide the back foot forward. Feet at hip distance apart. Hands can come out to the sides or up in front of you. Coming to standing. Front of your mat. Rise up onto the balls of your feet once again. And maybe this time you're going to start to come forward. Soften the knees. Coming forward into a flat back. Whoops. Letting your arms drape. Enjoy the wobbling. Fingertips can come to the floor. You may need to soften the heels before. Let yourself hang. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, step back with your left toes into your lunge. Push downwards through the feet to lift the belly off the thigh. Thumbs underneath the breastbone. Shoulder blades down. Lift a little bit higher. And then we're going to twist left elbow either onto the top of the knee or thigh or to the outside. Turn your gaze towards that top shoulder. Make one forearm out of your two. And perhaps lean your shoulder blades towards the space behind you a little bit here as you breathe. Notice if you're very front loaded, can you shift the weight through the spine into the back heel? Coming back, thumbs to the heart. Reach your arms forward and bend the back knee. It's just hovering off the floor. Pelvis is in neutral. Perhaps you want to begin to straighten the back leg, but only so much that you're not pulling the pelvis so much out of alignment you get a compression in your lower back. Raise the arm. Open this pose into a warrior two. Back heel comes down. Press the knee towards the little toe. Shoulders above the hips. And the armpits, inner elbows, palms towards the ceiling. I'm going to bring a little bit of aliveness into this pose. As you exhale, soften the elbows back. Bring your awareness to the core of your body, and as you inhale, reach out. Open your eyes as you gaze towards your right fingers. Exhale, soften. Receiving information, a little bit more sensory. Inhale, extending out, a little bit more motor in quality. Exhale. Inhaling as you straighten up that front knee, swing the hips back. Hand can come to rest on the shin or in front as you expand out into your Trikonasana. And again, just keeping this pose alive. As you exhale, bend the knees. And as you inhale, press down to the feet and expand out in all directions. Exhale, soften. Inhale, press the feet away. Extend the crown of the head and the tailbone in opposite directions one more time. Exhale. Inhaling. Coming all the way up, turn your right toes in. Reach up towards the ceiling. Exhale, spin your heels in so your toes are out about 10 degrees. Drop down into Vatayasana or horse stance. Take a little rock here, just playing around with the distribution of weight between the right and left feet. Come and settle right in the center. Reach your arms forward, press the palms together. Draw the arm bones back into their sockets. Perhaps you'd like to raise the heels off the floor. Maybe even raise the arms. And then the heels come to the floor, straighten up. Spin your left heel out, right toes out. Drop that down into your warrior two. Just make sure you're not leaning forward here. Reaching into the future, into the next thing. Can you be right here, right now? Take the back arm up and over, take the hands to the floor. Step back into a downward facing dog. Coming forward into a plank. Lower your knees, flatten your feet, lengthen the tailbone, pull the elbows in as you drop the chest down. Slide the legs away from you. Little internal rotation, the tops of the thighs. Pull your hands back, baby cobra. Perhaps the legs float off the floor. Take the hands back so they're more in line with the midribs, squeezing the elbows. So when you place the thighs back to the floor, you draw your chest through, maybe lift the hips off the floor. Keep it down if you need to. You can just take a cobra rather than up dog if this isn't right for you today. Lift the navel, roll over the toes. Stretch back into your down dog like a big physical yawn. Couple of breaths here. Just feeling how the breath gently lifts and delivers you back. Like a little feather on the inhale, floating off the floor and releasing down on the exhale. Raise your right leg up behind you. Come forward, knee to navel. Slide the outer edge of your right foot across the floor, back heel down. Maybe raising up your left arm this time into a fallen angel. Keep the hips inflated as you breathe. Hand back to the floor, knee to navel, pulse back. Step the foot in between the hands. Glide the back foot forward, feet are hip distance apart. Arms come out to the sides or forwards and up. Rise up onto the balls of your feet. Good. Tailbone drops, pubis draws up. Soften the knees and start to come forward. Through a flat back, letting your arms drape. See if you can find a 90-degree angle between your thighs and your belly. Reaching down, maybe the heels stay up. When you need to, soften the heels to the floor. Let your head release. Inhale, lift and lengthen your heart. Exhale, step back with your right toes into your lunge. Take the weight back a little bit into the bowl of the pelvis so you're not so front-loaded. Push down to the feet, lift the belly off the thigh, thumbs come to the heart. Run across the collarbones. Lift a little bit higher. Twist towards that front knee so the right elbow comes onto the top of the knee or to the outside of your thigh. I'm going to turn around so you don't have to see my back. You're here. Lean the shoulder blades back into the space behind you a little bit. Wonderful, keep breathing. Good. Come back through to the center. Reach your arms forward. And softly bend the back knee so it's just hovering off the floor. If you can. As you straighten that back leg without pulling the pelvis out of alignment, raise the arms. Then you're going to open up into your warrior two. Again, I'm going to turn around so my back isn't towards you. You've got the left foot in front. Bring your spine back into alignment and the armpits, elbows and palms towards the ceiling. Soften the elbows towards you as you exhale. And inhale, reach out. Exhale, drawing information back towards you. And then inhaling, reaching out. Slightly sensory in quality as you exhale. More motor as you inhale. Straighten up the knee, swing the hips back, reach. Fold into your Trikonasana pose. If you need more support, the hand can rest on the shin or even above the knee. Shoulder blades down the back. And then as you exhale, bend both knees. And as you inhale, press into the legs and extend out in all directions. Exhale. Inhale, so just following that little pulse of your breath. One more time. Exhale. Inhaling, expanding out away from the navel. Going all the way up. Turning your left toes. Reaching up. Spin the heels in, bend the knees, drop down, thumbs to heart. Dantiasana or war stance. Maybe reaching the palms towards the ceiling. Lifting the heels off the floor as you breathe. Couple more breaths. Heels to the floor. Send your right heel out, left toes out. Spine drops like a plumb line through the center of your pose, warrior two. Back arm up and over. Hands to the floor. Step back into a downward facing dog and just notice how this down dog feels as opposed to the first one that you did in this session. Be with the breath that lifts and drops the body gently. Lift your left leg up behind you. Bring the knee to the navel. Slide the outer edge of the foot across the floor. Back heel down. Raise up the right arm, inflate the hips, forward angel. Hand back to the floor, knee to navel, pulse back, sit the foot in between the hands. Glide your back foot forward, feet to hip distance apart. Come all the way up to standing as you inhale. And turn around as you rise up onto the balls of your feet once again. Stay as you exhale, you're going to sink your right heel. Pick the left toes, the left heel off so you come onto the toes. Lift the knee a little bit and then take it out to the side, but not so much that your hips sway. So your hips want to stay square towards the wall you're facing. Place the foot onto the ankle. So it's a baby tree. Just take your left hand into the hollow of your groin so you can feel the gateway, the opening there. This is just about the right angle that you're going to need as you step that left foot back and find a warrior one. Quite a tricky pose. If you need more space, wiggle the right foot slightly out to the side. Open up the arms, interlace the hands. Little bend in the elbows. Turn slightly inwards with the shoulders. Belly, rib cage, maybe shoulder comes inside the knee. Humble warrior. Let the head go. Looking towards your back heel, can you lift the inner ankle bone up and away? Notice how that allows the knee to come into a place of safety as you engage that spiraling activity of the muscles around the bones. Drop your thumbs onto your sacrum. Release the fingertips to the floor, swivel up your back heel. Make it longer or shorter. Heel to the right foot to the outside of your mat. And maybe drop your hips a little bit lower. Keep the heart extending. Glide the back foot to the outside of your left hand so the feet are mat width. Take the hands into prayer and come all the way up to standing. As you exhale, bend the elbows, they're quite narrow. Feed the arms through the legs as you reach back. Snuggle the shoulders inside, maybe looking towards the thumbs. This might be enough, or you can take the web between your first finger and thumb around the Achilles tendon and maybe take a slightly deeper squat. Push down into the heels, palms together. Come all the way up to standing. Heel, toe the feet, hip distance apart, and release the shoulders down. I'm going to turn around. You can stay where you are. Rise up onto the balls of your feet. So you exhale, lower your left heel. Pick the right heel off the floor, lift the knee. Take it out, but keep the hips square. So for most of us, the knee will be on an angle. Place the foot onto the ankle. Toes wrapping around, so a little baby tree. And just take your right hand into the hollow of your groin so you can feel the level of opening, the angle of opening in that thigh bone. So keeping that angle, step back with your right foot, heel to the floor. Wrapping the right side of your body forward so you're relatively square. Circle the arms, interlace the hands. Turn the shoulders in, belly, ribcage, shoulder inside of your knee. Let the head hang. Hug your left sit bone in towards your midline if you're losing the shape of your warrior one. Lift the inner ankle bone of your back foot up and away, allowing the muscles to spiral around the bones. Put your thumbs onto your sacrum, release the fingertips to the floor. Swivel up your back heel and heel to the left foot to the outside of your mat. Both hands are inside. Extend through the heart, lizard pose. A couple of breaths here. Bring the back foot to the outside of the hand. Let yourself hang here, taking a hold of the elbows. Notice what's happening to the belly here. Is it hardening forward or can you let it hollow back? Come onto the tips of your fingers. Heel to the feet, hip distance. Turning the toes out and drop yourself all the way down to sit on the heels. My heels are off the floor. For some of you, the heels may be down. Hands to the heart in breath. Angle the body forward so the elbows come inside the thighs. Chin slightly down as you project the heart forward. Take the right fingertips to the floor so the upper arm or lower arm is in front of the shin. Turn the heart. Raise up your left arm. Look towards the thumb as you breathe. Put the hands back into prayer. Take the left fingertips to the floor. Lean into the shin. Raise the right arm up into your twist. Bring your hands back into prayer position. Take the hands behind you or to the sides of you, or however you can. Don't worry if you plop down. Come to sit. Fantastic. So we're going to stretch the legs forward. Take the hands and sweep them along the length of your hamstrings. And then draw the knees up so the knees are bent. Hips, knees and middle two toes are aligned. And you're more towards your sit bones than your coccyx. Raise your arms. Root down through your sit bones, lifting up as you inhale. Start to come forward, belly to thighs. Inhale, reach out, wiggle out of the pelvis. Exhale, keep the thumbs lifted. Inhale, lifting out of the belly. Exhale, hands can come to rest on the shins, ankles, or maybe keep the fingers over the tops of the toes. Pull your heels back towards you. Chin slightly in, so your legs are active. This might be enough. So rather than straightening the legs and having this happening, I'd rather you were finding that forward pelvic tilt, keeping the lower back nice and safe. If, however, you can keep this orientation of the spine and straighten the legs a little bit more, go ahead. I like to, at this point, walk my sit bones back 1 and 2. And if you feel, soften yourself forward. Allow yourself to find your own comfortable edge. A place where you can be still for a few breaths. And just notice. Notice any resistance in the mind. Any irritation. Any impatience that you may be experiencing. And we're asked to be still. Reaching your arms forward here. Coming all the way up. Release the arms around and behind you, fingers pointing forward. Bend the knees, place the feet to the floor. Push into the feet and you're going to lift your hips into a tabletop. Quite strong on the shoulders. I would suggest looking towards the navel unless you know your neck is safe. If you do want to take the head back, tuck the chin and roll it back slowly. Please never throw the head back. Head is heavy, the neck is precious. Looking back towards the navel and releasing yourself. Come towards the front of the mat. Feet are hip distance apart, hands onto the knees, draw your spine tall. Reach the arms forward. Exhale, start to roll yourself down onto the earth, just until the shoulder blades are hovering off the floor. Walk your heels back towards you a little bit. Inhale, extend the right leg. Exhale, place the foot to the floor. Inhale, extend the left leg. Exhale, place the foot to the floor. Inhale, right foot, 2, 3, 4, 5. Place it back. Left foot, 2, 3, 4, 5. Place it back. If you feel you can, both legs. 2, 3, 4, 5. Lower and hover. And then release down. Take a big sigh. Snuggle into the earth. So you may feel ready for Shavasana. You may feel that this is where you want to remain for the last few minutes. If you need another little twist to release the back, perhaps hug your knees towards you. Knees together this time. Arms come out into a T shape. We're going to rock the knees twice towards the right. Exhale. Use your core to bring them back to the center. Inhale. Exhale, knees to the right. Same side. Inhale. Exhale, knees come all the way to the floor. You're going to settle down here, making this a passive twist. Relaxing the toes, feet, ankles, shins, knees, thighs. Just allow your mind to rest on the breath behind the navel. Inhale, draw your knees back through to the center. Rock them twice to the left. Exhale. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, knees to the left. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, knees come all the way to the floor. Spread the shoulder blades. Relax the toes, feet, ankles, shins, knees, thighs. Breathe behind the navel. Draw your knees back through to the center. Place the feet to the floor and bring your arms down by your sides. If you know your back doesn't like to lie with the legs extended, you can take your feet a little bit wider, drop your knees into touch. If you're comfortable, stretch your legs forward into Shavasana. Slide the shoulder blades down the back. Lengthen your limbs away from the sockets. Close your eyes. Scan your body for any residual holding or tension. Allowing that to dissolve on each exhale. Shavasana is the pose of integration. that we receive the benefits of our practice. Just for the last few minutes, there's nothing else you should be doing, nowhere else you should be. We'll be here in silence together, just for 2 minutes. I'll mind the time. Bring your mind back into your physical body, and awareness of the weight and contact of your body on the earth. Aware of the space that you occupy in the room, and the gentle pulse of your breath, your life force. Perhaps begin to take a few full inhalations as you prepare to re-engage with your day, without disturbing this sense of spaciousness and possibility. You can wiggle your fingers or your toes, just to make sure you're back inside your skin. If you need a bigger awakening, raise your arms over your head and give yourself a big stretch on the inhale. Either just rolling over to your right side or hugging the knees in towards your chest, keeping your eyes closed. Just make your way over to your right side, pausing there for a moment. Take the left hand onto the floor by your face. Using that hand against the support of the earth, gently spiral your way back to seated. However that is comfortable for you, sitting on the shins or cross-legged position. Bring your hands to your heart in prayer and bow your head towards the tips of your fingers. And as you gaze down towards the heart, take a moment to thank yourself for making time to practice today. And thanking everyone else who made it here today to share energy and breath. We practice not only for ourselves, but for the benefit of all. And when you're ready, raise your gaze. Softly open your eyes. Namaste. Go gently. Have a blessed rest of your day. Thank you very much for attending. I hope to see some of you all next week.